I'm double recording you.
Okay. Are we on live or something?
Do you enjoy working here at I'm a Survivor?
Yes.
You're telling me that you enjoy working here?
Yes, I love it.
Who's your favorite animal?
Moo.
How much do you love him?
With all my heart.
Tell him how much you love him.
Moo, I love you with all my heart.
How's he going to believe that?
Because I'm speaking it from the heart. What do you mean?
Well, your face is something different.
What's it say? It should be beaming with pride of Moo.
Well, it's not. How much do you love your Uncle Lester?
With all my heart.
What do you want me to know? Tell me one thing. If this was your last words to me, what would it be?
I love you, and that's the hardest thing for me to say.
Folks, you do know that you can't always believe everything that you hear or even everything that you see. Y'all do know this. I'm about to grab me a cerveza, which is a beer, and I'm going to sit down in this chair and I want to show you what happens every time I take a sip of this thing. Every time I take a sip of this thing, I know they call it bitter beer face, but you ain't seen bitter beer face until you've seen what I'm about to show you. Give me a second here to pop this thing open. Y'all ready for this? So just in case you're wondering, this is the Michelob Ultra. It's one that Jamie makes me drink because of the low carbs and, you know, all that stuff. So, all right, here we go. I can't stop doing this. I cannot stop doing this. Look at me. I cannot stop doing this. Look at me. I'm trying to stop and I cannot stop. There's a point to this. There's a point to what I'm about to tell you, and I'm going to get right to it. Let me have one more sip here. Or more like a guzzle. I guess you call that a guzzle. All right. Now I'm about to get straight faced and back to my video. All right, so what I just demonstrated was a really basic illustration of why you can't believe everything that you see and all that you hear. That was a basic filter from a fun app that a lot of kids use called Snapchat. Guys, and I'm going to tell you something. I have seen filters that change what you're saying. They can change the sound of what you're saying. Obviously, they can change your facial expressions. And in saying so, you have to be real careful what you see and what you hear these days, because you don't really know exactly what you're hearing is true. You don't really know what is truthful and what is not. And so ultimately, there's a lot of things going on in today's world, in today's news, that has us quite alarmed. And if it's not bad enough what we're hearing on the news, it's what we're seeing with our own eyes when we look out at our pastures. My friends, what you see right there is not something that we're real happy about, but it's something that I think we have to do. Let me talk to you a little bit about what's going on here. You all are probably saying, wait a minute, Lester, it's only June. Why are y'all buying hay? Because this is obviously not the hay that we would bale ourselves. There's a reason for this. I'm about to go show you. So last year, if you remember, at the end of May, we got our first cutting of hay off of this field. And it was a bountiful cut. It gave us 63 rolls of hay. Now, 63 rolls of hay is enough to feed all of our animals, and we were able to give my dad the 15 extra rolls. We cut this hay a second time and gave the rest to the fella who baled it for us. Well, unfortunately, because we haven't got much rain this year, along with the fact that we weren't able to afford fertilizer because of the situation around the world with fertilizers coming from overseas, we had to resort to a different kind of fertilizer. Here we are at the 1st of June, and as you can see, this grass is no higher than 6 inches tall. 6 inches tall. Now, what should be happening right now is this right here. This over here is what they call Bahia grass. And this entire pasture should be like this. Just like this, at least a foot or two off the ground. Last year when we walked through here, it was up to our waist before our first cut. Today, I'd be lucky if it comes up to my calf muscle. So we are in fact getting a little bit worried about what's to become. In saying so, I thought that it'd only be wise to go ahead and start buying hay while I can, while it's still affordable. The hay that I'm buying today, I'll be taking over to Longhorn Lester's and stockpiling over there. We'll eventually have Ed come and cut this. Now, I can't guarantee how much hay it's going to give us. I hope that it will give us enough to at least get a start on the winter. And if I have to end up buying more hay, then I'll certainly do that. But what you don't want to do, isn't this pretty? But what you do not want to do, friends, is wait until the end of summer when every farmer and every hayman around realizes that their pastures never got a chance to get going and there's going to be a hay shortage. And if there's a hay shortage, a roll of hay that cost me today $60 each is going to go up to 70 and then 80. It'll pass 100, 150. And we have seen rolls of hay have to be shipped in from other states around the United States. And that's happened before. And that's very, very expensive. Hi, sweet girl. Now, you don't have to worry. Or does she? It's not just the cost of fertilizer that affects a person's hayfield. Fertilizer also affects all kinds of things that are grown around the United States that are turned into grains that our animals eat. Corn, especially. And so, lots of people are predicting a really, really expensive winter with quite possibly a lot of food shortages for our babies. Now, Jamie and I are hearing the news. We watch and we keep our eyes open, keep our ears open, and we are both going to do what we have to do now to start preparing for not only ourselves in case of a food shortage, but how will we keep our babies alive if in fact things get that bad. Today I stopped for gas, and at $100 the pump stopped, yet my truck was only at 3/4 of the way full. Jamie placed a Walmart order, and when I got there, the guy came out with an order with an entire list of things that were not available. When I went inside of Walmart, it was evident that there are so many things that are not on the shelves, or things you're only allowed a limit of, which has never happened before unless there was some kind of, emergency or something major going on in the world. So no matter what you say, and no matter who you listen to, and no matter what side of the political spectrum you belong to, there's something going on in our world. And I think it's time that we all start paying closer attention. All right, folks, we hope you enjoyed today's video. And we're not trying to be fear mongers. Jamie and I, stop doing that, please. Jamie and I do not want to be those that I'm laughing. Okay, I'm going to stop this stupid filter now.
Thank God.
Jamie and
no,
I.
why is it so on me?
Y'all, we don't want you to live
away.
we don't want you to live in fear. Just take care of yourselves and use common sense and look around and what's going on. Okay, kind of just Longhorn Lester's logging out.
Don't let your troubles fester. Come watch Longhorn Lester.
Yeah, something like that.